Hi everyone, I'm Niki Bezzant from Healthy Food Guide and welcome to Healthy Food Guru. This is where we look at new products and I give you our verdict on what we think of them. The first one for this week is Huntley Palmers light bread mixed grain. This is a version of the light bread that we all know and love from the 80s when it first came out. Just very light, crispy, cracker, crisp bread type things. The idea here is that it's got some whole grains in it. It's made with buckwheat flour, whole grain wheat flour, spelt flour and rice flour. So that does in theory add some whole grains to it, and that's really good. You'd have to eat a lot of these to actually get any kind of fibre benefit from that. It does increase the fibre, but because they're so small and so light, it's not really going to add any significant fibre to your day. On the other hand, they're lovely and light and crispy. They're good for snacks. I quite like them with a bit of peanut butter or something like that. If you were going to have these as a lunch, it would be pretty light unless you had something really substantial with it. That might suit you, but there's really nothing much in terms of energy or anything in here. But they're a good snack option and a nice cracker option as well. You can break them up and use them as crackers, so watch out for those ones. Not a bad choice. Now we're going to talk cheese. I love cheese, so it's always exciting to discover something new in the cheese area. I've got some Blue River Dairy sheep's milk cheese here, and there's a few different types. We've got a couple of different kinds of feta. There's a lovely cheddar. There's also a pecorino, which I've actually eaten all of, so that's not here. And there's a halloumi, which is the cheese that you cook. So the thing with these is that they're not particularly any healthier than regular cheese. They're not any less fat or saturated fat or sodium, anything like that. But it's probably worth just talking about a good way to use these kinds of things in your diet, because we don't like to ban any foods. So the way to use these kinds of delicious cheeses is to use them as flavour accents in your meal. So don't sort of pig out on them as a pre-dinner snack and eat half the block. Use it as a flavour accent in your meals. And you know, something like this feta is really highly flavoured, quite delicious, and it's going to add a lot of interesting zing and taste and flavour to your meal. If you sprinkle that over a salad or you put it through some couscous or something like that, it's going to be really delicious, or pop it on top of a soup, all that kind of thing. So think of it as a flavour accent in a meal rather than just something that you eat on its own, and that'll be the appropriate way to use it. Bear in mind the serving size as well, and if you are not uncertain about that, you can look for our serving size poster, but a serving of cheese is about 30 grams or so. So in terms of sheep's milk versus cow's milk, it is said that sheep's milk is easier to digest, much like goat's milk, but we can't really find any good evidence to back that up. If you are lactose intolerant, by all means give it a try. You might find it easier to digest, bearing in mind also though that hard cheese has little to no lactose in it anyway, whether it's coming from cow's milk or sheep's milk or goat's milk, so that may or may not make a difference. If you have a dairy allergy, we would say extreme caution would be required, because if you're allergic to the proteins in cow's milk, it's probably likely that you would be allergic to the proteins in sheep or goat's milk as well. So we would say tread with caution there. But for the rest of us, these are really delicious, interesting cheese options. They come in quite small serving sizes, so that's great. Definitely ones to watch out for and use appropriately. Here's something I came across quite randomly and which actually surprised me a little bit. It's Weight Watchers Moroccan Lamb with couscous, and it's a meal. It's a ready meal, if you like. We have been quite harsh on some Weight Watchers products in the past because we found that they really are no different, or in some cases they are worse than regular products that you might buy on the shelf in terms of nutrition. But this here doesn't look very promising, and it's in a box and it's shelf stable, but actually it is quite a nice meal. Now it comes in a pouch, or two pouches in fact. So there's a pouch of the Moroccan lamb and there's a pouch of the couscous, and you just make up the couscous with boiling water, you microwave the lamb and you you put it together. But when you look at the ingredients list, it is a very nice list of real food. So there's nothing on there that's scary or that you wouldn't recognise, which is really, really nice to see. And the result of that is, of course, that it's got good energy. There's no problems with fat or saturated fat or sodium. It's even got quite a decent amount of fibre in it, 7.1 grams of fibre. So overall, I had to kind of take it back what I'd said about Weight Watchers things in the past, and in this case this is actually quite a good desk drawer standby emergency lunch kind of a thing. I would add some more vegetables to it. Something green would be good always, a bit of broccoli or something like that, but it tasted pretty good, and you know, not a bad ready meal kind of option, particularly for a work lunch, so a good one to have on standby.